Okay, welcome to another video by AntiquesArena. My name is Walter O'Neill. I'm a UK reseller. I buy and sell antiques, collectibles, and the unusual, and hopefully flip them for a profit. Today, I'm going to share with you some of my finds from this week, and I tell you what, I am so lucky at the moment. The great gear just keeps coming out at the car boot sales. I'm finding some spectacular pieces for very, very little money. And I've got one or two pieces here that really will shock you. They shouldn't have been on a car boot sale. And I've got one or two pieces to show you that I've owned for a while. And a little story behind that. Anyway, should we get started? This combination of pieces comes from Sully on Sunday. Sully car boot sale down in down by Barry Island, and Splot in Cardiff yesterday. Now, a car boot sale, basically we put the stuff in our vehicle, drive to a location and sell it. It's as simple as that. So we're going to start off with my favorite find of the month. This is absolutely beautiful, hand painted, mid-century, half-meter tall nearly vase. It's 43 centimeters, I think, 42, 43 centimeters. It's not a million miles off half meter. Look at the condition of it. It's absolutely stunning. And yep, it's a Swedish heart pottery vase. Absolutely beautiful thing. Larholm Pottery of Norway, number 114. Now, I was down in Splot and the lady had this on the table. I asked her the price. She said £32. And then while I was looking at it and considering this, she dropped it to 30. I didn't ask. She dropped it to 30. And she said the gentleman at the side had been kind enough to go on his phone and search the prices for her. And the prices appearing on eBay and that were like 60s and £70. So she sold it to me for £30 sterling, about $45, $40. And yes, some are on eBay for 50s and 60s and 70s, but they are that big. They are like 10 and 15 centimeters. This is 42, 43 centimeters. That makes a massive difference. There are none like this on eBay, period. None sold through eBay, so I can't give you eBay prices. Now, I have been looking. So if we come across here, I've just done a Google search for Larholm Pottery, Norway, just to have an idea of some of the things they've done. You can see here some beautiful things, very similar. Live auctioneers, you've got to sign in to get the prices, things like that. AuctionNet and all that, it was the same. I did manage to find a few up for sale, and I found a couple that had been sold. Unfortunately, the ones I found sold were through First Dibs, and that site does demand high money, and we can never achieve the money they ask. Now, I just clicked on shopping, so it's Larholm Pottery Norway shopping on Google, just to see some of the prices. And then you got these small bowls, £50, a little dish, £58 there. You come down here, is a vase, ceramic vase, £291. That one, I can tell you now, is, I think it was 27 centimeters. I looked at it. Let me see if I can do product details. I'm sure this was 27 centimeters tall. Where's the size? This one's even got a small chip on the base. But where's the size? Okay, so he's asking £289 for this one. Fair enough, it's in blue, mine's in black. 1950s, Larholm, Norway, 43 centimeters. That one's actually the same height as mine, but this one's chipped. Mine's perfect. And they're asking $289. So I come from there. There's plenty of different designs, but that's pretty much the end of it on the Google. Come across here, and I singled out this one here. I found this one was available, and they were asking £195 for this one. This is the one that was 29 centimeters high, sorry. 29 centimeters high. So a good vase width less again than what I got, and they're asking £195. And I found this one here, if I open it up, which is the identical vase to what I got, only theirs has been damaged and turned into a lamp. If you look at mine and theirs, it's the same pattern, same shape, but where it comes up here, it looks like theirs has been cut off here and then a lamp fitted. I doubt very much it would have been made like that. It would have originally probably, if they would turn them into lamps, have the lamp at the top, because they would have just produced all the vases and then put lamps in them. So that one's been converted to a lamp and either cut down or was had damage and turned into a lamp. And they're asking 3,470 krona, which works out about £300 sterling. 30 pound. That was an absolute gift. And believe it or not, that was at the end of the day. I'd sold all day in Splot, packed up, and I was on my way to the toilet when I saw her on the ladies' table. It sat there all day, £30 sterling, on a car boot sale, and nobody bought it. Where's the sense in that? I just don't understand it. But either way, it's already up on my website. So I'm over the moon with that. If I stick with Splot for a moment, the next two pieces come in off the same gentleman. First of all, we have, known as Happy Buddha. However, he is actually Hoiti, which is one of the 7 Japanese gods. This is Japanese porcelain. When I purchased it, I thought it might have been Chinese, but it's Japanese porcelain. It's hand-painted. It's from the turn of the century, or early 20th. It is a signed example. And I managed to find 4 or 5 examples of these. Again, all through auctions. I was looking for them mainly for the descriptions and the age as opposed to the pricing. But I found quite a few of them. And value-wise, he's worth probably £100 to £150 sterling, which is around $200. And this and the next piece, only £15 combined. There's quite a few of these sold through a couple of the bigger auction houses. If you search Google Hoiti or Buddha, Japanese porcelain, you'll find a few of these, and they've all sold around the £100 mark. So that's a good little find. But the Buddha and this little polar bear owe me £15 together combined, so about $22. Now, the polar bear is USSR. Now, that's all I could see of the mark, which is very, very worn. However, I've seen enough of the mark to know straight away that's USSR Lomenstoff, if I'm pronouncing that right. And we have a little polar bear. Now, the polar bear is worth about £15, £20. It's not worth a fortune. But when you consider the two of them only £15, the polar bear will be sold for my money back, and the Buddha straight on the website. So already I'm doing really well. I want to show you quickly a piece that I purchased last week off a subscriber. So thank you for that. And I've now had a new glass fitted. I had to take it apart, put a new glass in, order a new glass. And I purchased this lamp last week for £20 sterling, about $28, $30. But the glass was smashed. Cost me almost as much for a new piece of glass. However, I've done some research on this. See where it says Beacon Millennium. Now, we assumed it was done for the Millennium, which it was. But there's an actual story behind Beacon Millennium. And I never actually knew it. The story behind the Beacon Millennium is basically to start or to see in the new millennium and the new century, the Queen lit, using a lit torch, like the Olympics type thing, lit a beacon in England to start and signal the new millennium, new century. And then consequently then more beacons were lit throughout the country and Wales and etc. And this has obviously been done to celebrate or commemorate that beacon lighting by the Queen. So I thought that was just an interesting and unusual story for a Thomson Webb miner's lamp. Now, I know it doesn't add anything to the value, I suppose, and it's still a modern lamp being the Millennium. I just like the story behind it. A lot of the times I learn stuff after I filmed it and do the research and realize then, well, I could have said that. I would have made the story much more interesting. But I always buy miners lamps, but I just thought that really made that one pop out. Story is so important to an item. If you can put a bit of importance behind it and the story behind it, then it adds to the saleability, even if it doesn't add to the value. And this next piece comes with a story. So we have a box. On the box, it reads, Sergeant G. Lee, Queen's Dragoon Guards from NSO Squadron, the Shropshire Yeomanry, 1958 to 1961. So already we have a military connection. This plaque on the front is probably going to be solid silver. It's not hallmarked, but it is going to be solid silver. It's very hard to engrave silver plate because you see the color underneath it. Well, they can engrave it, but it's hard to have it still looking silver. So that's probably a piece of silver on the front there. And if I open it up, this is absolutely beautiful. We have a canteen of cutlery. 6 knives, 6 forks. Now these, they are beautiful. They look like tortoiseshell. They simulated tortoiseshell. They're not real. They simulated tortoiseshell produced in a lucite or in a celluloid. They are absolutely spectacular. They're produced by William Rogers with Sheffield steel blades and fork ends then. But they have a beautiful shape, a real pedigree name, and they have never been used. William Rogers. And look at that. I love the saying at the top. I cut it my way. Absolutely beautiful. Never used. These really are gorgeous. I love the military connection. Obviously, somebody has been serving and he's actually meant quite a lot to the squadron for them to buy him something of this quality for leaving. And this would have been an expensive gift. William Rogers, they are not a cheap make. They produce some of the finest cutlery and knives and things in the world. And look at that, it's never been used. It is mint. It's been bought as a present and it's been kept in its box and loved and just looked at for almost 6 decades. Love the military interest. Love the name on the cutlery. Now, it didn't cost me a lot of money. £27 sterling, so about $40. That's all that owes me, which was genuinely a gift. I've been very lucky this week. I really have. I've had some spectacular pieces. I know it doesn't look a lot yet. Just wait. We have a single, very small porcelain cup. Doesn't look a lot. This cup is almost, well, it's 1 year off 200 year olds, or it was probably made 200 years ago now. But it actually was part of the Texing cargo, which was a ship that sunk in February 1822. And they recovered all the cargo off it and sold it off some years ago in auction. And this is a cup that was on that ship. So we have Texing cargo, Chinese porcelain, 200-year-old cup in perfect condition. Always intended for Western use because you got a handle. Chinese domestic never used handles. But a beautiful thing, fungus pattern. Texing cargo cost me £5, which is about $7.50 for a 200-year-old cup in mint perfect condition. Now, it doesn't have huge value. This is probably a £25 cup. So about $40 is what it's worth, $50. But it's a 200-year-old cup. I love the history behind it. And I'm proud to have purchased it at the cargo sale. And that is Texing cargo. So that's that one. Now, I was down in Surrey selling on the Sunday, and the gentleman opposite me, he'd had a bad day. Hadn't sold a lot. Nobody sold a huge amount because Malvern was on a big antique fair and all the dealers were up in Malvern. It was even quiet for myself. However, he needed to MOT his van, And I was sat opposite him, and he took his bracelet off, he put it on, he put it back off, he put it back on, he put it on the stall about 10 times and back on his wrist about 10 times. And in the end, come to see me, and we agreed on a price of £70. And this is absolutely stunning. So we have skull and crossbones, Maltese cross on the side, and every single link has got skulls all over it. This is a big, big bracelet. You're talking nearly an inch wide. It's 20 millimeters there and 15 millimeters there. So it's a thick bracelet. It's 9¼ inches long and well over 100 grams in weight. Now, I've paid him a lot more than scrap value. I don't care. Scrap value on this is probably around £50, something like that. But it is absolutely spectacular, and I'm not kidding you. It looks amazing on. I've nearly kept it. It's up for sale. But I must admit, I absolutely love it, and I've been in two minds of keeping it. It really does look amazing. I don't know if it's my taste with all the skulls. It's real sort of Hell's Razor type thing, but a good, real nice, heavy quality bracelet. It's large on me, as you can see, but it doesn't fall off the hand. I got small wrists. Beautiful thing. Cost me £70. So I've paid for it. So £70 is about $100, give or take. But I did check them on eBay and Google them, and anything with skulls and that is selling for big money. And a bracelet like this is worth a couple of £100 all day long. It's worth £2 a gram, no problem whatsoever. So we're still on the fence. I've put it up for sale at the moment, but I'm still on the fence as to what to do, and it is fully stamped up. If anybody is interested in the stamp, hang on. There you go. So beautiful thing. Cost me a bit of money, but I absolutely love it. And to be honest with you, I felt so sorry for the gentleman. And we tossed a coin. Was it going to be £65 or £70? And I lost. But I think the better person won. The gentleman who needed it more won. So I don't begrudge it. Now, I don't know if I've shown you this. I purchased this a few weeks back. Excuse me. I think I showed you. I'm not sure. No, I paid £15 for this. It's a kneeling, praying Buddha. Carved, was gilded in some elements. Now, I bought this back about 3-4 weeks ago, something like that, from a couple of supporters of the channel, so they're probably watching. And I paid £15. And I was unsure as to its age. Well, I took it down the car boot sale yesterday, and I showed a few pieces to a couple of dealers I know. Fair enough, they had a look at a few pieces for me, and I got something spectacular to show you in a minute that they looked at for me. But they confirmed this one's a late 19th to early 20th century. I was unsure, but the paint flaking and so forth is right. So it's at worst, it's early 20th or the first quarter of the 20th century. So I'm happy with that now. It's all carved wood Buddha. So that's now up on the website. It's another piece from Splot Market yesterday. Now this is a Swedish stainless steel Martini pitcher. The only thing I'm missing is the muddler spoon. On the top, it has the ice block, so when you pour on it, it holds the ice back. It's got a beautiful wrapped handle, and I just love that simple, elegant design. Now, this is produced by Gabis Stainless Steel of Sweden. Hang on, bear with me. Now we're going to get it now. There we go. Just about, do I? Gabis Stainless Steel, Sweden. And would you believe, with the muddler spoon, these are as much as £150. Shockingly, I know. However, I do not have the muddler spoon. I could probably look for one, but I'm just going to sell her as the Scandinavian or the Swedish pitcher in stainless steel. And this one cost me £20, which is about $30. Now, I did have the name for this. Let me see, is it? I'm sure I had the name. Okay, so this is by a person called Nils Nisbell. That is the designer. So I can give it a good write-up. It's got the pedigree behind it. I don't have the stirring spoon, but it's not the end of the world. A nice little item, again, from car boot sale. This type of stuff should not be coming out at a car boot sale. It really shouldn't. You would expect this type of stuff at an antique fair, but not a car boot sale. And look at this next piece. Now, I went to Abergavenny on Wednesday, which is a big flea market, and I bought a few pieces, this being one of them. Now, this is an original 18th century manuscript cookbook. It's not just 18th century, it's 1730. This book is 8-9 years of being 300 years old. Now, how do I know that? Well, first of all, there's the date. Now, all you see is a load of Roman numerals. Now, M is 1,000 in Roman numerals, a D is 500, a C is 100, and X is 10. So if you do the math there, you go 1,730. So 1730. Now, this is the complete housewife or accomplished gentlewoman's companion. And if you look here, this is quite cute. Do you see there where it says E by ES? They haven't put the author's name in. Do you know why? Because they wouldn't have a lady's name on the book at that period. Now, this is a genuine period 18th century book. Now, one of the things you look for is how it's made. Okay, with antique paper, you hold it up to the light and you look here, you see all these lines. That's an indication of laid paper. Sometimes you'll also see a watermark or crest mark in the paper that's invisible unless you hold it up to the light. But this is one indication. When you hold up an early book, you hold it up to the light, you're looking for these lines in the paper. So I know it's an original 1730, 18th century cookbook. Now, cookbooks of this period are rare. And I mean, they're seriously rare. They can demand £600, £700, £800, £900, £1,000. Now, the gentleman in question is one of my regular suppliers of antiques. And we noticed that there is a block of pages missing. So we got page 280, and then the next page is 295. So there are 7 full sheets missing, or 14 double-sided sheets missing, and this one is loose. But when you consider it's a 300-year-old book, that's not bad condition. Now, not only is it a 300-year-old book, this is a 300-year-old book containing upwards of 500 of the most approved recipes in cookery, pastry, confectionery, preserving, pickles, cakes, creams, jellies, made wines, and cordials. So there's still a lot of information in here if someone wanted to buy the book, a chef or something like that. Now, I've seen them in a lot worse condition than this, with worse pages missing, still selling for a couple of £100. I've paid him £50 sterling, with the pages missing, £50 sterling. It's a rough book. Look at that. Stitched up the end and there. But don't forget, it's almost 300-year-old. I still love it. I still think it's a beautiful book. It's a decorative book. And believe it or not, it'll still be used. Now, there's going to be recipes in here people would rip your arm off for. Take 24 quarts of gooseberries, full ripe, and 12 quarts of water after it's been boiled 2 hours. So yeah, it's a really, really wonderful bit of history. I don't think I'm going to have a problem selling it, even with the 14 sides of 7 pages missing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And to find a 300-year-old book again at car boot sale, you know, what can I say? Goes to show you the type of stuff that at the moment people are selling. And this is the year people don't normally part with. They really don't. If we stick with Abergavenny for a few moments, this is the same seller as the book. I have a Victorian, late Victorian, maybe 1890, 1900, Mochlinway box. Now, Mochlinwe is basically a term used for transfer printing onto boxes, and it was like souvenir waste. So wherever you went, they do prints of that area, and they have them on boxes, sewing accessories, you name it. They've done pretty much anything in Mochlinwe. Now, this one has an image of Hastings Castle. Always a good subject, Hastings Castle. It's got the clasp still on there. So it's got its clasp, even though it's not catching brilliant. It does catch, but it's not brilliant. And it's in pretty good condition. There's a bit of wear to the one transfer here, and the box insides are gone. But you know what? You're talking, it's 130, 140-year-old again box with Hastings Castle on. If you lived in that area, wouldn't that make a beautiful jewelry box or a little trinket box? You know, that was a tenner, so about $15. This one was a rolled gold pencil, but it was from America, New York one. I got my eyeglass. Okay, so we got a rolled gold pencil. Patent applied for number 10310. So it's number 10310. 1/20th 10-carat rolled gold, made in, rolled gold, Maxim, Maxim. So I have no idea who that is. We'll have a look now. Okay, so I've just run a search now, and we have 3 have come up. 1 year at $4.99 or best offer, and to be honest with you, right, and I'm going to say this honestly, where it says 1/20th 10-carat roll gold, you could strip all this down, you could weigh it, divide it by 20, and that's how much 10-carat gold is actually in this metal. Because this is rolled gold. It's not gold plated. This is gold rolled through it. So 1/20th of the weight of this pencil would be 10-carat rolled gold. So they're probably selling that less than the gold value of the pencil. There's another there, 38, and there's another at 20. I don't know if there's any sold. None sold. So there's none on the sold list. However, this one owes me a whole £8. So not the end of the world. It's not going to make me a fortune, but it's rolled gold. And to be honest with you, my smelters up in Birmingham, they've asked me for any rolled gold. If I wanted to, I could put this in my pot, and they've offered to melt all my rolled gold down, and then they will take all the gold out of it, and then they will weigh the gold and pay me accordingly on whatever gold they get out of it. Obviously minus commission of smelting it. And that's why I save all my rolled gold. But that is such a nice pencil. That's definitely worth selling. And I'll be somewhere in the £25 range for that. Next, I have a pair of sterling silver cufflinks. You can see how much I paid. I didn't get a discount. I paid the £10. These are solid silver. Now, they're stamped sterling, so they're not English. Real nice design to them. I need to do a little bit of research on them. They got little swivel backs, obviously, sign of quality, so you haven't got to struggle to get them on and off. No signature on the back. They're stamped sterling on the bars on the side. There you go, there. And I paid a tenner for those, so sterling silver cufflinks for a tenner. Nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, next piece I had was from Splot Thursday. It's something and nothing, but I absolutely think it's a beautiful little thing. Now, I've had a bronze cast Sphinx. So it's an Egyptian Sphinx, and it's really well cast. The details on it are absolutely lovely. Now, it's not very big, as you can see in my hand, but this is a really nice bit of bronze. Now, it only owes me £2, so about $3. And I don't think it's worth a fortune. It's probably worth 20, 30 quid. So that's roughly what it'll go out at. but for £2, that's really nice bronze Sphinx. A little bit of Egyptian there. Okay, next piece I want to share with you. I've owned these for probably about 6 years, 8 years. And I've put them on Facebook a couple of times asking for some advice, and I never got anywhere. And I never sell anything anymore unless I know what it is, because I've let go of some absolutely spectacular pieces and lost a lot of really good pieces. Now, I have a pair, both in very, very good condition. Just so you can see the condition of them. They're both in exceptional condition. Now, if you look on the top here, they are beautifully cast. They have sort of an empire look to them. They have bumblebees on the handles and all this cast leaves and things like that. And if you come underneath here, look at all that cast in there. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, this wasn't great quality. Always concerned me. Now, I don't know if any of you have got any ideas whatsoever yet as to who they are, but I can tell you now they're very important. Now, I didn't know who they were. I've had them for years and years and years, and I refused to let them go until I knew who they were by. You can see the quality on them. They are spectacular, really. They really are. Now, this bit almost looks 1930s, but it's right. Now, 6 years, I never realized they were signed. Can you see it there? It goes there and around there. Now, I can tell you, I took these to Splot yesterday and I showed 3 different dealers. We come to a conclusion they were French, empire looking, you know, and all the rest of it. And as we like this, I go like that and I see the signature. Never seen the signature before in 6 years. So I run a quick Google search. And these are by a French artist called Auguste, with an E at the end, Nicolas Cain. And he lived from 1821 through to 1821 to 1894. And he worked up until I think it was 1892. So these date from 1821 to 1892. Obviously, you had to give him however many years. When did he start? He started his show in... So if we come across to Wikipedia, all right, there he is, Auguste Nicolas Cain, 10th of November 1821 to the 6th of August 1894, and was a noted French sculptor in the Animelas school, known for his portrayals of wild and domestic animals. Cain was born in Paris and studied under Rude, I can't even pronounce that, Gounet, and Paris-Jules Maine, whose daughter he married in 1852. His first exhibit in the Salon of 1846 was Mac's wax model of Linnet defending her nest from a rat. Okay, so his first work was in 1846. So we know it was from there until 1892. And his bronze and shown at 1855 Salon. So between 1846 and 1888, Cain exhibited 38 models at the Salon. From 1868 onwards, he concentrated on monuments, including the... Why are all these bloody words so hard to read? Chateau de Chantilly and Lilion. I'm not even going to carry on with this French bloody words. I'm useless. And in 1879, assumed management of his father-in-law's foundry upon his death. Anyway, that was hard work reading that. I've run a search on Auguste Cain anyway, just to give you some prices. And they're absolutely astronomical. You can see there right across the top alone, £450 for a little sculpture, £250 for a little bronze cup, £6,500 for a box, £400 for a little statue, £300 for a little inkwell, but they on eBay. It's just crazy money. 6,000 for a pair of candlesticks, 3,500 for a tray or plate, and so forth. But do you think I can find a pair of bowls? I can't. So I got a pair of bowls that we know now are from 1850s through to 1892. So we have a 40-year span of which they were made. They're both signed by him, and they're in beautiful condition. That's no way. That was gilded. They were gold at one point. Now, I haven't scratched the base to see if they're silver plate on bronze. I doubt very much they're solid silver, but they got too much weight on. They're seriously heavy. However, they're absolutely beautiful. So I have no idea what I'm going to price them at yet, but I can tell you now we're in the hundreds, not in the, we're not under that. Well, somebody at some point in their life have scratched a foot, or the foot has had a scratch. And it's white metal underneath. So we're not 100% sure yet what they're made of. It could be silvered bronze. I don't know, but we got a pair of very rare August cane bowls, possibly bonbon dishes, or possibly just decorative. They may have even been part of, because the quality of all this is so good, and then that is so poor, they could have even been part of something much larger, maybe a stand or something like that, and these were on the top. I don't know. Something like that, and like a garniture or something like that, and they could have been the top piece of a vase or something like that. I don't know. All I do know is they're beautiful. They display amazingly. They stand out a mile of quality, and I think they cost me something like £6 or £5 or £6, 6-7 years ago, something stupid like that. They didn't cost me a lot of money, and for 6 years I thought these were flies, and they're not. They're bumblebees. So this shows what I know. So you know the moral of that story, don't know. If you don't know what it is, and you don't know what it's worth, put it in a box and don't sell it until you've learned enough to know. Because I've sat on them for probably 6 years, whereas I could have probably turned them over 100 times at £50 to £100. And I now know what they are, who they are, and I'm going to get them valued properly. I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to spend hours and hours and hours cleaning them up with a toothbrush and silver cleaner and all the rest of it. I'm going to get them looking amazing. And I may even send some photographs to Sotheby's or Christie's and see what they think of them. Or Bonhams or Druid, one of the top-end auction houses. So, I know what you think. That is about it. That's about all I want to share with you today. Everything except the bowls is up on the website at AntiquesArena.com. So feel free to go across, have a browse. There are over 1,000 pieces listed on my website now of this quality. Over 1,000 pieces. So I'm very proud of the website. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. I will get back to doing lives at some point, but until they figure out how to stop the spammer and the trolls, it's just not worth it. It's too much headwork. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the big pieces. Bye for now.